Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint Germain family. Ousmane Dembele recently had an interview where he discussed a bunch of stuff, Paris Saint Germain, PSG this season, and obviously the Ballon d'Or. And I thought we'd take a look at this interview. If you had to keep just one image from the Champions League final against Inter Milan 5-0, the one you remember in 30 years, which would it be? Oh, just one. It's difficult. There are two that stood out for me. Marquinhos and Kimpembe in tears, obviously, very deep. Marquinhos and Kimpembe have been here for an extremely long time. They've been through everything us Paris Saint Germain supporters have been through, the ups and downs at this club, and they can finally lift that trophy. After so many years of struggle and battle, as they say, they finally managed to bring home the cup with the big ears, and it was a pure joy. The captain's emotion was beautiful to see. Then the communion with the crowd as the final whistle was exceptional. These are images in my head forever. Given the season we're having, we deserve it. The club, the president, who has worked enormously for years, and the fans also deserve it. Beautiful answer. You were a little less demonstrative? Yes, but I was happy. You don't realize right away that you're a European champion, even after a day or two. It's like the 2018 World Cup. It took us a while to realize we were world champions, but little by little, with the fans celebrating, you realize that you've achieved something great. And if you had to keep just one message, the one that touched you the most, what would it be? There's something particularly touched me. Before the final on the bus, Gigi Donnarumma handed a letter to all the players, to all the staff, in which he had written a little message of support for what we've done this season. We were motivated, but after that, even more so, he gave us goosebumps. It was crazy. He wrote in French, English, Portuguese for everyone. It's a very nice gesture on his part. It was magnificent. Wow. Shout out to Gianluigi Donnarumma, man. Please, we gotta get that extension, man. Please. Donna, man. Legend at this club. What's the best thing so far? Winning the World Cup without playing much, or the Champions League while being the pillar of a team? Oh my. That's a difficult question, but because it was exceptional to win the World Cup 20 years after the first title, the happiness we experienced in 2018 with all the France is priceless. Honestly, it was magnificent. The first Champions League in the club's history is also fabulous after so many years of joy, but also immense disappointments. We saw when we returned to Paris that we had achieved something great, so I'm not going to choose. Damn, Booze. We saw you posing with the Champions League like Kobe Bryant with the NBA trophy. Was that coincidence or a tribute? It was a nod to my sponsor. It makes for a great photo. I also like watching basketball, the NBA, and we know that Kobe Bryant is a legend in the sport. Which athletes inspire you? I don't know Michael Jordan, but I watched The Last Dance, of course, and it's incredible. Considering that before there was no social media, he still managed to cross generations. What he did with the Bulls is fantastic. And then I grew up watching FC Barcelona, so of course Leo Messi. For me, he's the greatest. He's a player who's inspired me. He's unique. I'm very happy and very proud to have played with him from 2017 to 2021. The best basketball player and the best football player are the athletes that inspire Ousmane Dembele. What's the most important goal this season? Not necessarily the best one, but the one you remember. I would say the one against Liverpool. Plus, I scored early in the match. We managed to eliminate the best team in Europe at that time at Anfield. A tough stadium. 1-0, 4-1 on penalties, March 11, round of 16. We had nothing to lose and we knew we could achieve something great. In the first leg, there was a lot of disappointment after dominating and conceding that late goal 1-0. So yes, the most important goal was the one versus Liverpool. And I would have to agree, that was the most important game, important performance from the team, from Ousmane Dembele. That got us to win the Champions League. You know, the Liverpool tie was harder than the Champions League final, then Champions League semi-final, then the Champions League quarter-final. In which match did you feel you were at your best? I think it was against Arsenal in the first leg, 1-0 April 29 semi-finals. I felt good. If I hadn't gone off injured, I think I would have had the opportunity to score a second goal. Love the confidence, man. I was in form. I was trying to drive Will Saliba crazy because he was on me. The first 30 minutes against Arsenal, the team played at a very high level. Very true. On the contrary, at what point this season did you feel the least confident? I would say at the start of the season against Girona, our first Champions League match. I wasn't good. I missed a lot of chances. Dembele, love that. Humble answer. Yeah, that was probably the least confident because, I mean, Arsenal obviously didn't play. Atletico, he was good. Bayern, he was good that game. And then the referee gave him a unfortunate red card. But yeah. Agree with that. If you win the Ballon d'Or, have you also discussed a watch with your loved ones? I haven't made the bet, but I think I could get a little gift, yes. And I would try to talk about it with President Nasser too. There's been a little chant rising since the victory against Inter. Ousmane Ballon d'Or. We heard Marquinhos singing on the Champs-Élysées, DJ Snake at the Parc des Princes, and even the crowd at the Roland Garros. Now that the club's greatest collective trophy has won, you can tell us, are you aiming for the Ballon d'Or? I'm excited to see what his answer is. A little embarrassed. These are difficult things to say, but winning a Ballon d'Or when you're a soccer player is obviously the holy grail individually. It's something you dream about when you're little. I remember back when it was Telefoot, I was watching the players line up to receive the Ballon d'Or. It was incredible. The object alone, the ball is exceptional. Wow, so he didn't really. Are you aiming for the Ballon d'Or? He didn't even answer. He said like it's a huge achievement, accomplishment. But man, Dembouz is so humble. You went from never having been nominated for the Ballon d'Or to being one of the favorites this season. Did you ever think it would be possible? I hope to be among the 30 already. I've had some difficult years with injuries and poor performances too. This season, I think I've performed well, so we'll see what happens. It would be exceptional to have my name on the list, and being one of the favorites is already a great victory, even if I hope to win it one day. Man, look at them boys, man. You deserve everything in life, man. It's always difficult to talk about yourself, but what would you... A great Ballon d'Or winner? Your questions are tough. I don't know. It's just journalists who vote. Personally, I always played the same football. Ever since I was little, I've always wanted to give pleasure to the people who come to the stadium. I like to dribble, but I'm also someone who helps the team enormously, who wants to score, who will score too. After that, everyone thinks what they want and votes what they want. If you like Ousmane Dembele, that's fine. If you don't, life goes on. We'll see. We know you're very close to Kylian Mbappe and that you can be a bit of a joker. Do you tease him by telling him you can win it before him, or do you just not dare to broach the subject? No. We haven't talked about it. We're not teasing each other about it. Kylian and I have always said that winning collective titles is the most important thing if you want to win the Ballon d'Or. The key is to go all the way in the major competition, have a great season. If you do that, you have the chance to be crowned. We focus on that, nothing more. I mean, Ousmane Dembele, Mbappe is extremely fortunate and lucky that Dembele is such a great dude, because I think most people would tease Mbappe about it. And second of all, I think Dembele knows how insecure Mbappe is, and yeah, he would never bring it up. Even at the beginning of the season, people were talking about your clumsiness in front of goal. And then you made a string of mistakes, error. Beyond your repositioning to the center, is there a rational explanation for this newfound clarity in front of goal? It's a whole lot. There is, of course, the positioning on the pitch as a number 9. The effort isn't the same as a winger. When you get in front of goal, you're a little fresher. Sometimes you just have to finish tapping goal, as they say. I really like that. It revived me to move into the center. I'm even more clear-headed in front of goal. It's also a question of confidence and mental strength. Since the start of the season, as I tell my friends and family before every match, I announce, today I'm going to score 3 goals. Afterwards, I might score 1, 2. Or 0. But every game from now on, I tell myself that I have to score 3 goals. And if it's 1 or 2, that's good too. Are you hungry? Yes, I'm even hungry, and it showed. As I said in the start of the season, that I wanted to be decisive, that I wanted to score many more goals, and that's what happens thanks to my teammates who served me very well. They did a fantastic job, and I feel confident. When you score on Saturday, 3 days later, you still want to score. And the following week, you still want to score. It doesn't stop there. In the center, we've seen your qualities as a finisher and a passer. However, you've always been seen as a dribbler throughout your career, a spectacular player who likes to provoke with the ball. Where do you enjoy yourself the most? I really enjoy playing as a number 9. There are matches where I've played as a pure number 9 behind the defender. Well, all I cared about was getting in front of goal. There have also been a lot of matches, especially in the last 2 months, where I've played as a number 9, dropping into the middle to create a power play. I really enjoy both roles. I can alternate. I'm someone who adapts very quickly. I experienced this central position when I started my professional career. When I touch the ball in this position, I only have 1 or 2 players to eliminate before I can score or set up a goal. Whereas on the right, as a winger, you sometimes have to get past your opposite number, the left back, the midfielder who's coming at you, the central defender. You arrive in front of goal and you no longer have your lucidity, so it's much easier for me when I play in the center. Hugo Ekitike said de l'équipe he found a little something in his daily life that changed everything, perhaps in terms of rigor. What does that mean? It's normal when you get a little older. I'm not young anymore. I'm 28 now. The more the years go by, the more you mature, the more settled you are. Plus, if you have responsibilities, it's even better. I've changed a lot of things in my daily life on and off the field with my fitness. Coaching with the physios, it was allowed me to perform much better, especially in the last 2 years. Would you say you're more professional? That's right, a little more professional. I was a pro, but now I'm even more so. Even on my days off, I like to go to the training center, recover, and work with the psychotherapist. Before, I would go home, play NBA 2K video game, and watch a little TV. I was younger too, that's normal, but after a while you pay for it. And I saw that especially in Barcelona. I arrived there young, and I played there from 20 to 26, and I experienced a lot of physical problems. I learned a lot there, which was useful. Now I know my body much better, and as a result, I get injured less. I know when things are going well, but also when I need to slow down, when I need to pace myself in training. We've often seen you this season running around trying to get back on defense or pressing goalkeeper Jan Sommer against Inter. words genuinely don't like that, but we get the impression it doesn't bother you, quite the opposite. That's true. With a coach like Luis Enrique, you know that if you don't defend, you'll end up on the bench, and someone will take your place. For me, a forward shouldn't cheat. He must always make an effort, whether defensively or offensively, to help the team, and not just when we're attacking. He's basically calling Mbappe a cheater. That's how Paris Saint Germain became European champions. Everyone defended and everyone attacked. Take Ashraf Hakimi. He scored in the quarterfinal, the semi-final, and in the final. Even though he's a defender, he defends, he attacks, he makes a huge effort. Me too. The coach came to talk to me at the start of the season. He told me I had to set an example for the younger players. That was the team's first defender. The message got through from the start at the end of the season. I did everything I could to help the team win. And look at that. Lucho giving responsibility to Dembele, saying, you are the main man. This team can only go as far as you take it. And Dembele takes that responsibility absolutely beautifully. We've obviously seen the video of Luis Enrique talking with Mbappe, bringing up the example of with Jordan. Mbappe just, he cannot understand that because he's not a winner up here. To be a winner, you have to sacrifice, and Dembele has sacrificed so much, and other Paris Saint Germain players have sacrificed so much at this club, something that Mbappe was not willing to do. You come across as a rather carefree, but also altruistic, selfless person. The Zidane is said to the kid, he helped me align my integration at PSG, and he's doing the same for the French national team now. He's like a big brother to me. We know that the world of football can sometimes be tough and competitive. How do you maintain the state of mind? For me, it's extremely important. When I started at Stade de Rennes, all the players helped me, notably Sheikh Mbengue and Steven Moreira. Afterwards, I've always wanted to help my teammates too. Football is a team effort. If you only think about yourself, it's not possible. You can't win. For me, it's normal to help the younger players. Besides, the Zidane is a little guy for Rennes. But I help everyone, whether it's the Titis or who just arrived from abroad like João Neves. He's 20, but you'd think he's 30 the way he carries himself. The Zidane will remind you of Lamine Yamal, who you saw arrive in the first team at Barca. Frankly, they're both equally strong. Everyone was already talking about Lamine Yamal at Barcelona from a young age. When he arrived at the professional level, we understood that he was exceptional and he took another dimension. In training, he dribbled, he made assists, and he also scored. Speaking of Desire, his integration wasn't easy at first. He had to assimilate to a new philosophy. Then little by little, he completely exploded. He's a very professional, intelligent, serious person who listens well. He's going to go very far because he's also seen incredible entourage. His father is a very interesting person. He has a lot to tell. They say that the real star of PSG this season is Luis Enrique. Do you agree? Yes, he's the boss. He's the one who decides if you're good, you play. If you're not good, you don't. If you don't put in the effort, you go to the bench. He brought that mentality back to Paris Saint Germain. He's absolutely right. It's thanks to that he created this collective, that we're much stronger, that we all think about the team before thinking about ourselves. That's the path to follow if you want to win more big trophies. There's also the tactical aspect. He's very, very great coach who went at Barcelona, who has many ideas. Whether you like them or not, who never give up on them. Which is very true. How did he manage to instill such self-confidence in you this season, especially before big matches? He's a coach with extensive experience, having already won the Champions League 10 years ago. He says that football isn't a war. It's still a match and that you have to control your emotion. He asks us not to give 200%, but 100%. You have to be motivated, but not over-motivated. Before the final, he also told us to enjoy ourselves, because these are moments we might never experience again in our careers. We have to enjoy them. He always seems detached, which sometimes gives the impression that he doesn't care, but that's completely false because he's someone with ambition. This doesn't stop him from remaining very measured, always smiling and devoting all his energy to the team. He's focused on the collective, not the stars. We've already talked about it a lot, but during the season he mentioned your suspension against Arsenal in the early stage of the Champions League as a defining moment for you. Do you agree? I don't know, we didn't argue, we made it a choice, and that's it. As I said, it was mainly the team that raised its game during the second half of the season, that's what made me perform. It didn't change anything for me being suspended. From the start of the season, I wanted to score goals, provide assists, and be there for the team. And this is the only time where Dembele isn't completely like this biggest nice guy. He's saying, I don't know, we didn't argue, he made the choice, and that's it. Simple. Observes points to the turning points Paris Saint Germain season as the 0-2 draw against City. Is that your opinion too? I agree. Since then, we've won almost every match. When we played City, we were 26 in Champions League standings. We had to win. When you're 2-0 down after almost an hour, it's a disaster. That little nutmeg from Barcola, that pass he put in for me, it gave us confidence. And I think that match turned everything around. And once we eliminated Liverpool in the last 16, we said to ourselves, it's good, we can go all the way. Against Aston Villa in the return leg, I had no doubts. I was certain that we would qualify, even if it was a tense moment where PSG's old demons came out. On June 13th, 2017, you scored your first goal for France against England. There have been 6 more. Despite winning titles, do you feel like you need to make up for lost time in terms of stats and influence? Yes, that's right. There's still a pace you're right at with Le Bleu. I started well in 2017. I had a good debut, but after that, I really wasn't consistent. I was a substitute in some match, and I wasn't a starter in 2018 World Cup in a year that's the World Cup in the United States, co-hosted with Canada and Mexico. I also have this desire to do something great with this jersey. I want to be decisive, to be a leader on and off the pitch. I'm one of the longest serving players in the national team, so we'll have to set an example. You're not going to move to the Club World Cup. You never stopped since then. He's been injured in France and will miss at least the first match against Atletico. Yes, it's a crazy pace. That's how it is. That's football and I love it. With Paris Saint Germain, we want to win every trophy possible. The Club World Cup is a goal. We have to have that mentality. That's what the coach tells us every day. We have to refocus quickly, especially since we have a tough group with Atletico Madrid who beat us in the Champions League. It was the worst match of the season for us. We'll see how it goes. I think it will be a very good Club World Cup. What are three player interviews that you'd like us to set up for France football? Frenkie de Jong, William Saliba, and Pacho. He has stories to tell. He's shy but interesting. As reigning European champions, you're going to be expected to deliver in this Club World Cup. The president told us we have to keep working to win titles with the squad, which is still very young. That's the mentality of this club as well as the coach. We still have 4 or 5 years ahead of us to win as many trophies as possible. We're going to the Club World Cup to win. Finally, can you help us solve one of the great mysteries of football? Do you have more confidence in your left foot or your right foot? My left foot? No, actually, I don't know. It's difficult to say because I shoot better with my right foot than the other. On the other hand, I have better ball control with my left foot. I can control the ball very well with my right foot. It gets away from me, but it's not too bad to have both feet. What a beautiful ending to this interview with Ousmane Dembele, and what a selfless, humble player Ousmane Dembele is. The way he can reflect about his previous career, see the negatives, see the positives, see what he's improved on, see what made him stronger and better. And now he's, at the peak of football. Soon going to be, given the Ballon D'Or on the 22nd of September. And Ousmane Dembele, last season he was great, but this season, this is one of the most memorable seasons in recent time. And I can't wait for him to come back in the Club World Cup and start cooking for Paris Saint Germain. That's been it from boy PSG. And hopefully, guys have enjoyed this interview of Ousmane Dembele. And as usual, allez Paris.